For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of an insight into kind of the testing facility that Outwell have over in Denmark, and this gives you a bit more of probably an idea of the levels that they test their kit to make sure when it comes to market it is bang on. So there's two main features we kind of focus on during this little video. The first would be kind of the rain test, and then second would be the wind test. Wind test, of course, is a very crucial thing when it comes to camping. Certainly in the UK weather, when it does blow a gale, it absolutely goes a hoolie. So the joys of actually doing it in a more controlled environment, you can make sure that everything essentially is how it should be. The first thing to point out is we're talking about a constant wind. So gusts are much trickier to sort of play with when you have windy conditions. Whether it's a constant wind, that's where it's a much easier, and that's when you can sort of look at the aerodynamics of the tent and make sure it's going to be fit for purpose, really. So first thing we want to mention is that actually the capability of they have testing facilities here can go up to 200 kilometers an hour, which is madness. You know, it's basically what they can replicate is a force 10 gale, which again, in that scenario, you shouldn't really be camping. Let's be honest, it is just a bit of fabric and poles or air tube, so it's kind of beyond the ability of the tent to a certain degree. But you have that's kind of the excessiveness that that Outwell kind of deliver it to. And even with, say, an open pitch tent like we have here, it can still go up to around about sort of 146 kph, again from a constant wind. So what we can see actually is, let me show you what that kind of looks like just now. So we're now inside the tent. Just to give you an idea what it's looking for inside here. Impressive. So as you can see, we kind of go around the tent, how the tent is quite stable. You know, it's well secured down. It's worth mentioning at this point that actually a well-pitched tent is going to perform better than a poorly pitched tent. So it's half about sort of what you have, but also sort of about how you pitch it. And as you can see from that kind of video, as we sort of pan around, it's nicely secured down. And what it's also depends on which way the weather's coming. So in this instance that we've shown you, the wind is coming from kind of like a side-on profile like we have here, so ideally where the camera is, and that's actually from a strength perspective the strongest part that the wind can come from for the tent to put up against it, mainly because it almost cuts through it like a knife with a corner. It sort of swoops over the tent and again it breaks through it. Actually, part of Outwell is they do about 500 tests a year with their kind of facility here, so they really do test, you know, their own product as well as other people's. So it's making sure that they can do the most they possibly can do. Other things to bear in mind as well is what they do test is they do test it 360 degrees. So they pitch the tent side on, end on, and front on, and back on for that matter, and see how it performs in all scenarios. So they really go and do their due diligence with it all. And that's where I said on an angle, not that you can really choose where you pitch tent a lot of time, really is the best way. Second to that would be either from sort of the back or the front, preferably back because it's a bit more aerodynamic. And then ideally the worst is actually from the side. So that's where, you know, shaping your pitch sizes are limitations, but it adds kind of a bit of an insight to it. And just to give you a bit more of a humour, I decided to take the plunge and stand in front of that wind speed, and it looks something like this.
Pushed it a bit more. It's 170.
Don't blame you. So that's kind of the wind aspect taken care of. Another thing which is probably anything more crucially important is down to waterproof levels. And again, with the facility they've got here over in Denmark, they have the ability to really test, again, to make sure everything they do is waterproof. So with me here, above me, we've got this sort of kind of a rain deck. They can actually have about 224,000 litres of water come down in an hour, which is just extraordinary, you know. And it really helps to push through its mileage, really. So I'll tell you what, let's have a quick look at what that looks like as well.
Here we go. Inside of it now, you can see just the sheer amount of water coming off. Don't know what it's hoping. Brushing off now. See all the water coming out of here is incredible. Everything, as you see, is just floors all dry as a bone. It's amazing the amount of roof supports, no pulling, no sagging, just yeah, sits really well. Perfectly.
Again, so that from there you've got an outside and inside version of what that kind of looks like, how it feels, and the sheer level of noise you find in there. You know, I'll have to turn the microphone down a bit because it is kind of very noisy. And then we sort of, that's been done with a like a fan that's shipped over from sort of the States. So again, they have testing facilities where they physically manufacture, as well as obviously here at head office in Denmark. The thing I like actually as well is the way the water falls off. It's not designed sort of, again, a well-pitched model. to linger. It literally falls off. You can see from what we saw from the windows how far it comes down, and that's where again Outwell can really be detailed in making sure that every single point from the stitching to the ground sheet, how it all works, is designed in a way that water's not necessarily getting in. And to finally finish you off with a little bit of a gem is I decided that I was going to put myself in front of and underneath the river and got myself a little bit wet. So here we go. So there's only one way to test the tent where make sure it doesn't leak. So let's start the rain. Here we go. I'll make sure I'm actually covered up for this bad boy. Lovely and cold. I'm not sure you can hear me, but you can see the water's pooling off quite nicely. It's not collecting along the top. Nice to know my waterproof coat is actually waterproof. There's also, importantly, to bounce back off the thing here as well, so good level of rain, an awful lot coming down, but no, I can't see any leaks anywhere. I think we're doing a fairly good job, so no, I think we're all good. No. Perfect weather. It's like a British summer. Go to the canopy, a bit nicer. There we go. That's a better. That's what a canopy's for. Oh, much nicer in here now. Really kind of chucking it down now, which you can see. I can just see the water just drumming off it, and then it's just lovely swirling down here. I think I'll stay in here. As look at it, seems all really tight, really nicely done. So I dried out a little bit after that, as you can see. So thank God for these waterproof shorts, and my raincoat was thankfully waterproof. So that gives you kind of a bit more of an idea of the sheer levels of what they kind of put their product onto to make sure when it comes to the market for yourself and I to use, that it is up to scratch. Everything from the way it looks, the way it feels, and also of course the way it performs, more importantly, has been taken care of and is thought about to the nth detail. So for more information, of course, feel free to let us know. Comment in the box below whether you enjoyed this video, whether you're not, or what you would like us to see, or alternatively what situations you want to put me in. In terms of adverse weather. But if you wanted to get a bit more up close and personal with kind of some unique features of Outwell, we've done a separate video as well just looking at that. So that's worth a watch, and it talks about what makes Outwell different, why you do things a little bit differently, and just kind of I would say almost the Danish way of doing things right, and very detail orientated, which I do feel a bit myself as well. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again soon in our next Attwoolls little tutorial / information video.